box A, page 1, and like I encourage you to do, you ask the client, show me your 2553, to which they respond, what's that? Right? And it happens, okay? And when it happens, part of the struggle we face as tax people, when we need an answer to a question, there's a whole lot of material to go through, whether it's the statute, the regulations, or 100 years of judicial precedent and administrative ruling. Sometimes finding the proper authority is like looking for a needle in a haystack. Well, when that client tells you what's a 2553, or we don't have an S election on file, you can cut your research time down, because where you want to go is RevProc 2013-30. For 30 years now, the IRS has released a steady string of automatic late relief procedures. Why? Because S elections are late all the time, all right? It just happens more than you can imagine, all right? And that's why, like I said, you want to ask for that 2553. Because once they say, what's that? I don't know what a 2553 is. We just thought we had to file on Form 1120S. Now you've got your work cut out for you. And what you do is you go straight to RevProc 2013-30. And this is your one-stop shop, okay? Not just for late S elections, but late Q-sub elections and QSST elections, and even late check-the-box elections that are concurrent with an S election. But it's pretty favorable. And what it says here is that you can make a late S election as much as 3 years and 75 days after the effective date that you wanted. So we're sitting here now, January 15. That means we have until March 15, 2015 to make a late S election for a client as far back as 1/1/2012. That's pretty nice to have in your back pocket. Now, obviously, certain requirements have to be met. Number one, you always have to be eligible to be an S Corp for the period that you want to make the late relief. They're not going to give you late relief for a period you weren't eligible. Two, you had to always be filing 1120S. Right? This isn't late relief to go back and change an 1120 to 1120S. You had to be filing as an 1120S. And three, your shareholders had to be filing as if you were an 1120S. But if you meet those requirements, we can go back to 1/1/2012. And it tries to make it easy on us by saying we could actually just attach the 2553 to our 2014 return we're going to be filing. So say we wanted to go back to 1/1/12. We could attach the return to our 2014 return rather than have to file it separately. That sounds lovely, but what's the problem? When is our 2014 return going to be due for a calendar year S Corp? March 15th. But what if we extend it? Instead we file it in May or August or September. Does that extend the 3 years and 75 days we have to go back and make the late S election? And the answer is no. So there's a major trap there where the RevProc says you can attach it to your return, but understand, if you extend your return beyond March 15, 2015, and you don't first file the 2553 independently, what's going to happen when you attach it to that return after March 15 is you're going to have lost 2012. And now you're only going to be able to go back to 1/1/2013. So if you want to attach to your return, great, but file a return before March 15. If you extend, then file it separately. Now, the more interesting part of the RevProc to me is this fact that it says you meet certain requirements and you can actually go beyond 3 years and 75 days. Theoretically, you can go back to the beginning of time. And the only requirements are the ones we've already discussed, plus it says that in the first year you filed your 1120S, you couldn't have been notified by the IRS that they didn't have a 2553 on file within 6 months of filing that return.